Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. We're starting off a little different today. This photo on the screen right here is the first set of nails I ever did back in 2013. I was scrolling all the way down on my Instagram feed and was just kind of like, wow, I was doing what I could back then. You know, we didn't have gel polish like we do now. We didn't have all the tools. I don't even think these were acrylic nails, who knows, but I'm gonna recreate this design today on myself. So we're getting started. I have already soaked off my left hand, so we're gonna be using my dominant hand like normal, and we're just gonna, you know, do a whole new set. I haven't had nails in a really long time, so I'm super excited. I've already prepped my nails, while I was removing the previous, I had the Apres Gel X tips on for about a month. So I already soaked those off and prepped my nails in the same time before filming, so that's why that's not in here. But we're just gonna get started with my favorite tips. These are the Two Guys One-Step Coffin tips. I just recently purchased some new tips from Zule. I'm so excited for them to come. They are two options. So there's like a 4 extra long stiletto that you can cut down to get like a perfect taper square. And then they have a extra long square shape with no C-curve. So I am so freaking excited about that because I personally hate a C-curve. Like, I'm not a C-curve kind of girl. My natural nails are pretty flat, so I just can't get down with the C-curve. But I can't wait for those to arrive, and I know I'm gonna love them. I'm just like, oh, come on, shipping. I'm like looking out the window like, where's my package? But in the meantime, we're gonna be using my OGs. These are the One-Step Coffins by the Two Guys. And if you clip down enough, you get a nice tapered square, or like a wider coffin, which is pretty much what I ended up with. So again, if you watch my videos, you know that I try to make sure that the nails look straight. There's, I think, nothing worse, or a few things worse than doing a gorgeous design, but then when you look at it and the client has her hand straight, one nail is like dipping to the right or dipping to the left. So my pinky is crooked. It goes in towards the ring finger, so I had to adjust and place that tip a little bit to the left. And my pointer finger, as you can see, is doing the wobble to the left of the screen, so I have to place that tip towards the right, following the knuckle. And then when I hold my finger straight, you have beautiful straight nails. So that's just what I'm doing. Now I'm going to go in with my straight edge clipper, and I kind of know my ideal length is 2.5 clips down. So if you stick the tip all the way in until it reaches that kind of like nub in the clipper, you clip 2 full times, and then the last clip will be like halfway. That's my ideal length. Like, I can, you know, function well. This is, you know, what I think looks good on me. So I'm just cutting them down like that. After making sure that the length is where I want it, I'm just going to use my hand file. This is a 120/120 hand file, and I'm just blending the tips, right? So I could totally use a sanding band, but I just didn't feel like grabbing it. And I had this file on the table. I'm just like, you know what, let's just get it done. So I'm being very light-handed, and I'm trying my best not to file my nail again, because I did do a soak off and I already prepped my nails, so they're already a little bit, you know, worn from the removal and the prep, but I am just making sure that there's a nice transition from that tip to my nail. Also, I'm just going to be buffing anywhere where there's excess glue that might have spread onto the nail, just scratching that up so that that acrylic has something to grab to as well. And then here we go. We are going to be snapping for magic, bringing that back, right? And all of the nails are blended. I just didn't feel like putting that whole thing in the video, but you kind of get the idea. Next, we are prepping. So this is a little bit different. I do not have intentions on wearing these nails for particularly long, because I'm going to be doing my birthday set in like another week or so, and I'm so excited about that. So I'm just going in with Dehydrator and Young Nails Protein Bond, and you guys are gonna not believe it, but I am not going to be applying a clear acrylic layer on my nails before getting into this design. I already knew that I was going to be removing this set in about a week, maybe a little bit more than a week, and I just, you know, I couldn't be bothered. So I'm going straight in with this really new gorgeous acrylic that I got from GB Beauty Box. I found this brand on Instagram, you know, as you do. I'm just scrolling and looking at nail designs and liking and saving and, you know, coming up with inspiration, and I saw this post and I was like, oh wow, that acrylic looks beautiful. did some more tapping, found the page, and somehow ended up purchasing some acrylics from her. And this is called Self-Made. I do have a swatch video of this and some other few acrylics that I got recently coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. But this acrylic is so gorgeous, guys. Like, it's a really nice nail plate kind of nude. It's a little beigey than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit deeper just from my skin tone, but it's still a gorgeous acrylic, and it has this really gorgeous gold shimmer in it, so it's really, really sparkly but subtle. I don't know if that makes sense. It was so weird doing these nails because I'm so used to doing that clear acrylic layer first. I was like, ooh, I'm putting acrylic straight up on my nails. Okay. But yes, all 5 of these nails are gonna get the same treatment. We are just building up for structure. So I'm using bigger and drier beads to make sure that I can keep that product towards the center of the nail. If I happen to leak or flood the sidewalls or cuticles, then I'm just gonna use the tip of my brush to kind of maintain that. But for the most part, we're just doing a nice, simple application. Excuse me, and just making sure to maintain that shape, right? So we see the tips have a nice square shape after I've already gone in and blended and shaped them. We want to maintain that with the acrylic application. You don't want to be applying acrylic and then after your application it's all thick and wobbly. Like, it defeats the purpose, and you're giving yourself more work to do. So I am constantly patting. You're going to see me constantly swiping at the nail sidewalls, right, and the tip of the nail. You want to have a very smooth application because the better this is, the less work you have to do later. So for my thumb, I do it a little bit differently than I do my other nails. I'm taking a medium size bead, medium to large, not a large, but like a medium large bead. And I like to apply it right at that free edge of the natural nail. And then I use the brush constantly. You see I'm swiping the side walls and pushing the product down pretty much from the sides of the nail, and then massaging the product down with the body of the brush. When your acrylic has a good ratio, it won't be runny. You see it's not dripping off the sides. It's just kind of staying stiff and kind of like thick towards the center of the nail. That's what you want. You want the product to stay in the middle of the nail. Then you see me using the body of my brush to kind of pat it along the edges of that tip. So that's how I maintain a really nice sharp shape. This is really important to me because it just lessens the work. It makes your application faster. It makes your whole appointment faster and just cleaner, right? You don't want to be swiping away so much product. We all know that these acrylics are not cheap, and we all, you know what I mean? So you just want to be efficient with your application. Then I'm taking another medium-sized bead. I'm placing it a little bit closer to the cuticle now, and I'm just going to do the same thing, patting that product back towards the center of the nail and using the body of the brush to kind of massage it down. When I feel like I have it covering majority of the nail, then I'm going to swipe and blend into that first bead. That's how we build up a little bit more structure on the thumb. Then I'm going to go in with a cuticle bead. I will say this is like a small to medium bead. It's not a small bead, but it's like a medium, in between small and medium bead. And I don't place it directly at the cuticle, but I place it a little bit under. And as you can see, I placed my thumb facing downwards so that gravity kind of helps me out. And if any material kind of floods the sidewalls, as you saw right there, I just use the tip of my brush to kind of sweep away the excess product, pushing it back towards the center of the nail. And that's usually how I get a nice shape. If I feel like I need a little bit more structure, then I'll add additional beads towards the free edge of where my natural nail is, because that's where I prefer my apex to be. I enjoy a thinner cuticle. So like right there, I'm adding an additional bead because I want this nail to be a little bit stronger and have a more pronounced apex. So I'm blending that down and then swiping so that we have more product towards the middle of the nail, thin product towards the tip, and thin product towards the cuticle area. And here's what that's looking like. I'm so proud of the progress, looking real good. Then I'm gonna go in with my medium non-safety carbide bit, and you all know how this process goes. I like to go side to side up the whole length of the nail, and then I'm just gonna be using the bit wherever necessary. So around that cuticle area, I'm gonna get the tip of this non-safety right up in that, like almost even under the epinicium if I can, just being very careful. I like to keep my e-file at a medium to high speed. As you saw, I just swiped my finger down the length of the nail to see if I can feel any lumps or bumps or anything like that. That's so helpful. When you're doing a client's nails, you see me use my thumb because it's like right there, but you know, I'm doing my own hand. Then I like to take the bit and go up the right side of the nail, cleaning around the cuticle area, making sure that there's separation between the product and the skin, and then down the left side. So that's basically how I like to do my nails. And if you see the pinky from the side, it has a beautiful shape. The apex is in the correct area, and then I'm just thinning out and debulking wherever necessary. I'm gonna do that for all 5 nails. after e-filing, I like to go in with my hand file. So I'm not using a crazy high grit hand, well, I guess low grit, but you know what I mean. A crazy hard hand file right now. This e-file, I keep saying e-file. This hand file is a 120, so it's pretty, you know, soft. It doesn't really do too much. And my main focus here is just to get a beautiful shape. So I want that nice crisp shape. You see me, I'm bracing my finger, basically have to squeeze my finger with the other fingers, and then I can use that up and down motion like I like to. It's very painful if you don't hold your finger steady, because you're basically wobbling your nail up and down, and you do risk pulling your nail bed away from your nail, so just be careful with that. But I find that doing that up and down motion gives me the nicest, sharpest square shape, and as you can see, it looks nice and good. So these are my nails after filing. We're gonna snap for magic. We're nice and clean and ready to go for our gel application. So like I showed you in the beginning, that set I did, what, 2013? That's 8 years ago. Guys, so long ago, back when nails weren't even as crazy as they are now, and I am so proud of how these came out. So we're going in with this iGel Beauty color. This is called Tranquil Aqua, and this is the color that I could not wait to use on this set. I saw that set and was like, yeah, I have to use this color. It's so perfect. And this is a style that was so popular in the 1990s and 2000s. I'm not gonna give away my age, but when I was younger, this is basically what I would get all the time. I have so many photos from when I was younger in high school with these types of nails, and to think now that people are calling them like retro is so funny, because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, so it feels very nostalgic to me. So what I'm doing here is I am doing kind of like a herringbone pattern, just using a drier brush. So I'm wiping off my brush a lot in the container, and I am not curing these gel polishes. So they are blending and mixing into one another. If you don't like that, just wipe off the brush on your napkin before going back into the bottle, but I don't really care. And the blue that I use is a color called Blue Lagoon. This purple is from Macart. It's from their pastel collection, and it's a really gorgeous like lilac kind of purple. And we're just going back and forth. So I swipe the green in one direction, I'm swiping the blue in the opposite like diagonal direction. Then I swipe the purple in the same direction as the green. This is a really soft kind of like sheer pink gray kind of color. We're going in the same direction as the blue over the purple. So I'm just swatching the colors back and forth over each other and trying to use a very light hand so it looks like a dry brush effect. That's basically what's happening. And I did not cure at this point. So I felt like I was losing a bit of the green because that blue is a little strong, but because the blue is not cured, I can just swipe that green over the blue and it just kind of blends a little bit better. Then I felt like, you know what? I think I want more green on this set. I'm gonna go back in with the green on the opposite side and do a final swipe of green. And I know what you're thinking. You're looking at it right now and you're like, this don't look too nice, right? I'm not gonna lie, when I was doing the set too, I was kind of like, I don't really know, but we'll see. But I put it in my lamp and we cured. Then I'm gonna go in with that purple. Because it's a herringbone, the tip of the nail has like a weird little triangle that was empty. So I'm just using the purple to kind of fill that in just like that. And then we're gonna cure for 30 seconds. So this is what it's looking like so far, and I promise it gets better. So I wanted a little bit of sparkle. In the original design, I did actually use silver polish to kind of give some accents, but I felt like I don't really want silver in this set, so I'm actually going in with some ether flakes that I got from iGel Beauty. These are the F21 and they reflect purple and green, so I thought it was totally perfect for this set. And I am just sticking that into the inhibition layers of those gel polishes, so it's super easy and fast and it works out really great. These ether flakes are so thin. Normally I would like, I gotta encapsulate these so that I don't have texture on the nail, but I didn't have any texture from these at all. It was so great. They stick really perfectly and they're really, really thin and sparkly and just give an ethereal kind of shimmer. You guys know I love a little bit of sparkle, so these were perfect. I'm using a really, I said stupid, a really old, why did I call that brush stupid? But it's a really old like paint brush that I got from a Michaels paint set like 10 years ago, and I love it for pigment and applying like ether flakes and things like that. Now we're getting into the actual hand design, and I just remember when I used to get this design, it was so quick and easy. It was kind of like the nail techs just kind of like, they all knew how to do this design no matter where you went. This is what you would see like on the finger cards that were like on the wall. All the designs were like variations of this. So this is so nostalgic for me. I'm using white gel paint from iGel Beauty, and my favorite, I talk about these brushes all the time. My favorite brush brush set from Amazon. And as you can see, I am drawing alternate diagonal swirl thingies. You know what I mean? I don't even know how to describe it, but basically 3 little stripes that curve in opposite directions. So I'm doing a long one, a medium-sized one, and then a really short one on the opposite ends of the nail. I am not carrying in between. If you're someone who's a little bit more clumsy, do that. But I'm just really bad at like curing in between nails. I like to just get started and then cure when I'm all done. And looking at that, it looks like it's coming along, right? But it's not until the black gets on the nail that it's like, oh yes, this is great. So I'm going in and doing the same thing with black gel polish, and I'm using a different brush from the same set. I just wanted the black to be a little bit more thin and I guess dainty, who knows? But the same thing, 3 black swirls or half swirls or lines, you know what I mean. And I'm just alternating them on opposite ends. So if one is curving to the right, the next one on the other side of the nail is going to curve to the left. But you can definitely see what I'm doing here. After I'm done with the black stripes, I am going to cure for another 30 seconds. So these designs are not complete until you do those dots. And back then they didn't really have dotting tools. I think they used like toothpicks. I've seen people use like ballpoint pens or whatever, but we're super excited because based on this brush set that I'm always talking about, we've got dotting tools on the other side of these brushes. So I just pulled out 4 of the dotting tools and in various sizes, and we started with a large one, and I'm just going to be adding 4 or 5 black dots in one angled direction towards the middle of the nail, and then I'm going to cure. And it just guys, seriously, from when I first started painting the design, it looks like night and day. Doesn't it look so good? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna do the same thing with the white gel polish in the opposite direction. So if the black dots were going down towards the cuticle, the white dots are gonna move up towards the free edge. And I'm just gonna be adding those 4 to 5 dots in that same manner. After that, I'm gonna cure as well. But that's not it. You would think like, oh, this set looks great like it is. No, I had to add some rhinestones. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm so glad that I did. Basically, I'm gonna be adding rhinestones with the Zule Bling adhesive. We're going AB just because we're reflecting that same kind of AB from those ether flakes we put underneath the nail. And I'm basically applying these rhinestones the same way we did the dots. So like random dots. I'm doing a smaller rhinestone right at the free edge, a slightly bigger one right behind it, but they're all really, really tiny rhinestones. Like I'm not using SS10s. I'm probably using like a 3 and like a SS6 or something like that. Like they're really small. And then I'm gonna add 3 rhinestones above the black dots as well in a little kind of curve. So we get like dots of white, dots of black, and dots of rhinestones as well. I thought that this was so cool, and once I was done with this, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm in love with this design. So we just elevated it from 8 years ago. It's a little bit more fancy, but guys, look at this design. And this is the point where I was like, yeah, we need more bling, just a teensy bit more bling. And I was like, yes, it totally worked out great. Come on, you cannot tell me that this doesn't look cool. It looks so good. And wearing them, I went to play tennis actually the day after I did these, and the people at the tennis club were like, I was like, yes, I love these nails. Okay, so last step is to glossy top coat. So I wanted to go glossy on these because that's how it was back in the day. Nobody was really wearing matte nails back then. So I'm you know, keeping it authentic, and we're going glossy. Please don't mind me painting over the rhinestones. I just could not be bothered to paint around them, especially because there were so many and they were spaced out in this weird way. So I am gonna go back in and wipe them off with an alcohol wipe or a lint-free wipe with alcohol on it before curing. So don't worry about that. But basically I'm using my glossy top coat from, not polish. This is the Gloss It. I'm loving this top coat. I don't know where I've been, but I've totally been under a rock. I actually used the matte top coat recently on a client. I'm super excited to get that video out to you all. But the matte top coat was fire. It's so good. It's still, I don't know, I have to use it a little bit more to see if it's as good as my favorite Beetles, or maybe I'm just like biased because I love the Beetles one so much and I've been working with it for so long, but the not polished top coats are A1 for sure, for sure. After wiping off the rhinestones, I'm gonna cure for a full 60 seconds and then this set is done. So just a reminder of what this set looked like in 2013, guys. It was so long ago, and just to see the upgrade, guys, so beautiful. So I had to take some shots for you outside with the greenery so we can totally see. The colors were so bright and vivid. It looks really graphic and it's so nostalgic and it just looks good. Like, this is a really good design. I would love to see this. I'm thinking now like in an orange or like a neon pink with yellow. Like, that would be dope and super great for summer. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if I should do this in another color scheme. I would definitely like to. Like this one if you do, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.